Alright, I'm CJ from CJ's Aquatics, and today I'm going to teach you how to ship live snails. First things first, you're going to need a 72-hour heat pack, a box that is not too small. Even if you're only shipping one little cup of snails, it's important to have enough space that you're not going to cook the snails when this heat pack reaches its maximum temperature. And then the other thing you're going to need is some paper towels and a deli cup or Tupperware, anything with a lid that's plastic. It's best not to use a plastic bag, whether you poke holes in it or not. Most snails do need air to breathe in the bag. Whether you poke holes in it or not, sometimes it can get crinkled up. Those holes can end up sealed, and it's just not very efficient. So today we're going to ship ram's horn snails, but the same exact method works great with nerites, trapdoor snails, mystery snails, bladder snails, Malaysian trumpets, just about any aquatic snail. The way I like to get started is I will take some paper towel and get it nice and wet and spread it out throughout your cup. And then let's say we're going to ship 10 ram's horns today. One important thing to do when you're shipping anything live is don't feed it for a day or two so that it's not creating very much ammonia in the package. When you package your snails, don't put them right next to each other. The best thing to do is spread them out and make it so that you could whip this thing across the room and their shells aren't going to end up smacking into each other. Then once you get them in there, just fold the paper towel around. Make sure you got paper towel in between all of them. And that's that. Now that we got our snails in our package, we need to make up for this open space and make sure that they can't shake around any more than they need to. So we just wet some more paper towel. It doesn't have to be soaking, but it is good to make sure that you got more than enough moisture in there, because a little extra moisture might cost you a little extra to ship. Not enough moisture is going to cost you a lot more if you have to ship a second time because your snails didn't make it. So always better safe than sorry. Just go ahead and add a little bit of that extra weight. So here we have it. Our snails are packaged. Normally I would have 2 holes in this, but this is just for the video. I recommend before you put your lid on, have 2 small holes just for a little bit of aeration. You don't want to add too much aeration to where it can dry out any faster. 2 small pencil-sized holes was more than good enough. And then, oh, I guess I forgot one of the things in our supplies list, newspaper. Let me go find some. Okay, so now all you got to do is stuff a bunch of newspaper in there. I like to start with a bunch on the bottom, and this is not really to insulate, but more to just make sure your snails are nice and cushioned and safe, and whether that package gets thrown around or not, they're still going to be in a nice little cushioned thing. I try to center them and then get more newspaper around the edges. So they don't get pushed up against one edge of the box. Just like that. And then at this point, or actually before you even start, you should open your heat pack. I'm not going to open this one today because I've already did my shipping for the day and I don't want to waste this one. So normally before I started doing this, I would open my heat pack, I'd set it aside, and now it's time for the heat pack. After you get enough newspaper in there to divide the snails from the heat pack, you would take your heat pack, and at this point the heat pack will say it's been opened and it's been sitting there for a couple minutes, enough that you can feel it's warm and you know it's working before you put it in the box. Sometimes, like I'd like to assume about 1 out of 10 of these Uniheat heat packs don't actually work. So make sure your heat pack is heating up before you send your shipment. That's a small, easy thing to do just to make sure it gets there the way you wanted it to. So on one side of the heat pack is a red line. That's the side that most of the heat comes from. So you're going to want to pay attention to what side that's on and make sure that it points towards your snails. Wrap it in some newspaper just like this, and then place it in there and pack more newspaper around it. You want all the way around the heat pack everywhere, you want a decent amount of newspaper so that aeration can get to all the way around. The more aeration, the better that heat pack's going to work, because it actually takes oxygen to activate the chemicals inside of it that continue to produce heat. If you suffocate the heat pack, it won't work. If you end up shipping a bag of fish and you put the heat pack right up against the bag of fish, it likely will not work, or it won't work efficient enough. So make sure that you have that extra room, even if that means ship a little bit bigger box, then ship a little bit bigger box. Also, when it comes to shipping snails in those cups, I don't recommend doing too many more than about 10 snails in that cup that I just showed you. A standard size deli cup, it's best to not keep all your eggs in one basket. If you have any issues, even if it's out of your control and for some reason the package was out for a week and a half, the snails, if they're packaged properly, they probably will still survive. But if one dies, that creates a lot of ammonia in the package. So if you have that divided, and let's say you're shipping 15 snails and you divide that into 2 packages and you have 7 in each package, and one goes bad and that causes all of the snails in that cup to die, you only lost half of them. So don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Now what you're going to want to do is top this off with crumbled up newspaper and make sure it's nice and tight so that whether the box is upside down or whatever, stuff isn't sliding all over the place. Alright, then the important part. Can't forget to send your valued customers some stickers and business cards. What I like to do is right here on this opening, make sure you write a little thank you note. And then tape it up and you're good to go. Just make sure you write fragile on there. And only do 72-hour heat packs. If you don't do overnight shipping, make sure you do 2-day priority. And that's about that. That wraps it up. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thanks for watching.